Well, welcome everyone. My name is Steve Stump, and today you are listening to 100% on, not in your business, where we help business owners make that transition from working in their business in the weeds on a daily basis to leveling up, working on their business. Because when they work on their business, they grow their revenue, they grow their customer count, and they develop their employees in such a way that they can depend on them to run the day-to-day business. I'm so excited today. I've got Christie Varner, and Christie comes with a wealth of experience with over 25 years as a CPA, and now the founder of Victory Advisory Services. She is a profitability coach and a virtual CFO. So her perspective helping her clients through this transition is going to make a really exciting show. I'm so excited you're here today, Christie.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm excited to be here too.
Well, you and I were talking a little bit about this show, or a little bit before the show, and I thought you brought up a really good comment and topic. You know, when you own your own business, you're the chief of everything. You're the chief technology officer. You're the financial officer doing the books. You're hiring probably and handling HR issues. You may even be the chief toilet bowl cleaner. I mean, making sure that the place is clean, right? So I thought it was a really good perspective you had about how that impacts the owner trying to be the chief of everything. Tell me a little bit more about your experience talking with clients about that.
Yes, I'm so excited for us to talk about this. This is something I see all the time for my clients who are small business owners, just like everybody in this audience, and just like me and like you, Steve. Like, we are running our own businesses. And I find that, yes, I am the CEO of Victory Advisory Services, and CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. But when we are running our own businesses, we tend to be the chief everything officer.
Yeah.
And so I have really realized that typically for my clients and also for myself doesn't work out to be even profitable, the most profitable route for a business, which is what we're trying to do, is, run a profitable business. Nor does it lead to good quality of life, because if you are trying to be in charge of legal and finance and marketing and technology and toilet bowl cleaning, you might not make it home for dinner with your family. You might miss your kids' dance recital. And in fact, a lot of my clients will say that when we talk about setting goals. And I always like people to go back to their own goals so that we know that there's a strategy to achieve the goal that they want. I can't tell you how many clients have said, I don't want to miss my daughter's dance recital again.
Yeah.
So being the chief everything officer sounds noble, but I've got great news for everybody. You don't have to be the chief everything officer to be successful.
Right on. The running joke in the entrepreneurial circles is, want to start up your own business? Great. Which 80 hours of the week do you want to work? But you're right on. You don't have to be that chief everything officer handling everything across the 80 hours. So when you work with clients, how do you help them know when is the right time to hire another chief, so that the human resources, the legal, the technology, whatever they need that leader for, they know it's time to go and hire that person?
Okay, love that. So what I do is I have people do a little bit of a task and time audit of themselves. So because I think we all tend to sort of lean one way or the other. You may lean towards hiring a million people right away to get you in there and buying a bunch of things, or you may tend the other way of just keeping it all. Like, you're not going to spend any money, you're not going to outsource anything. So regardless of which way you find yourself, I usually suggest that a small business owner starts with an audit, meaning that you write down all the tasks that have to get done, right? And you can do that by looking at your schedule, or you can just, jot on a piece of paper, whatever it is, and you'll find you'll get better at this as you go. And what I encourage you to do is to take the tasks and you essentially ask yourself, eliminate, automate, delegate. And it goes in that order: eliminate, automate, delegate.
Eliminate, automate, delegate. Awesome.
Yep. And in that order, because the first thing you want to do is say, like, eliminate, like, do I still need to do this? Is this serving me? Is this advancing me towards my goal? Or is this something that someone suggested to me that, made sense at the time? Or is it just kind of an add-on, right? Like I always think, like, you have to have the foundation, the financial foundation for your business, right? Just like you'd have a foundation for a house. Well, you don't need windows when you're building the foundation, right? So sometimes we get add-ons of extra things to do. So, do you need to really attend that meeting? Yes or no? Do you need to take the notes after the meeting? All the things, right? So you go through all the different things. So you eliminate the things that you can. Be really honest with yourself. What if you eliminate something and you determined that you shouldn't have? Add it back.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
That's the worst that can happen.
So yes, exactly. I'm just like, really be kind of, and honestly, it's kind of like decluttering your home. You get better at this. You start to, quickly evaluate, like, do I really need to do that? Because you get in that mindset, it's a habit. And you want to start with good habits. So the second one is automate. You will be amazed how many things can be automated these days. There's an app for everything. I mean, for everything. Just like, you and I were talking about earlier about how this, video podcast will also be an audio podcast, and how you can, automate how that gets put out there to the world. There are apps for everything, and there are automations for everything. I'm in the financial world, and I strongly suggest to people that you automate your finances, right? Like, use software. Can you do it by hand? Absolutely. Can you do it in Excel? Absolutely. But wouldn't it be nice if it was automated? There are so many of those things that you can automate in your life. And you just, like I said, once you kind of open your mind to the possibility of constantly saying, like, I can't eliminate that. So is there an app for this? Is there a way to make this better? Ask your small business friends. You'll be amazed. I mean, I'm constantly sharing automation techniques with my clients and learning new ones. So, and then the last step that I always tell people is delegate. You guys, we are the chief everything officer, and I am great at financial strategy and coming alongside clients and coming, next to you and helping you achieve your goals and looking at profitability. You know what I'm not great at? Designing a website. You know how I found out? I did it, right? I am my own chief everything officer. And so I learned that, and I designed a website for one of my businesses. And it took me a really long time, and it wasn't that great. And so understanding when to spend money and, when to hire a crew, just like what I talked about with, like, having the foundation for your house, having the foundation for your business. The guy that pours the concrete is not the guy that designed the plan, is not the guy that oversees, figuring out, like, I maybe need to outsource my website design. I personally have a VA, and she does my social media posts and helps me keep up to date, because she can't do financial strategy to help you get from where you are to where you want to go.
Right.
But she can post things for me, which is awesome. And so helping you say, like, is there a piece of this that I can delegate to someone else? And yes, I know that that costs money, but I will say one thing to consider in that, and keep in mind, I'm a financial girl, so I'm not going to tell you to be frivolous with your money. But what you might find is, like, for example, for social media posting, I did it and I can do it, but she is systematic about it. She's consistent about it. And guess what? She's way faster.
Right.
Right. So I'm actually
getting
time back.
She probably enjoys it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So she's in her zone of genius working, and it allows me to work on my business, to have oversight of, like, what is it I'm trying to accomplish, and make sure that the tasks that I am now left with, because remember, we've eliminated everything I didn't need to do. I automated the things I could to make them faster. I delegated the ones that I could. So you know what I'm left with? I'm left with the most important tasks that are going to move my business from where we are to where I'm trying to go. And
Right.
that's what I love. I love to help people be strategic, and it's something you can do for yourself. I mean, you take these 3 easy steps and it's very practical.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Now let's talk about a sponsor. Fiverr gives you access to the world's talent. Just like we talk about in the podcast, working 100% on your business and not in your business oftentimes means you need to delegate tasks and responsibilities to others. When you don't have employees, but you still need to access the talent across the world and delegate those tasks to the right people, Fiverr is the place to go. To learn more about Fiverr, go to www.insuremesteve.us/Fiverr, and that is Fiverr. There you'll be able to access talent across the world and delegate those tasks out, allowing you to work 100% on your business and not in your business. Now let's get back to the episode. Right, right. Well, so many thoughts came to mind when you were describing how you help people go through that decision tree process of eliminate, automate, or delegate. And one of the things that I'd heard in the past was take a look at your value, your time value, and then are you spending that time value properly? So let's say you charge out at $100 an hour. So if you're doing something that's not charging out at $100 an hour, can you pay someone $100 so that you can go charge out, or pay less than $100 so you can go charge out? So it really shifts the mindset of your time is your budget. And then you've got to associate dollars with that time. And when you can have arbitrage with what can I earn with that time versus what do I need to spend for someone else to do something, then that's where the real leverage comes in.
Absolutely. And in fact, I did a YouTube training. I do trainings every week within my Facebook group, but also on YouTube. And I did a training on exactly that, Steve, on how to know when you can afford to outsource. And I talked about if your time is worth this and you can, bill out, say you're a coach and you can bill out X dollars an hour versus what you can pay. And the thing that I told you, where my VA actually takes less time than I do to do it. So you actually come out ahead. But I will tell you the other thing about that is, let's just say that one thing that I discovered, because I work a lot of hours too. So your joke about the 80 hours a week, like that resonates with a lot of us, right? That's why we're trying to work on our business, not in our business, because we are the chief everything officers. You guys will laugh about that. Now, every time you introduce yourself as chief CEO, you can laugh that you're like, oh, I don't want to be the chief everything officer. I'm going to remember what Christie said. But so one thing that I discovered was by outsourcing some of the things that I could, by delegating that, you know what it gave me? Time.
Yeah.
Time is worth something. So it wasn't even necessarily that I was going to take that time and apply it to making more money. I was going to take that time and apply it to being a person,
You're right.
not working 80 hours a week, because I can pay someone to do something, and that is a financial, that's a financial strategic decision that you have to make. Obviously you can't outsource everything and not have money coming in the door, but I do encourage people, quality of life really matters. And I am not your typical profitability strategist in that regard, because I always tell people I'm not going to help you just chase a number. I want you to chase a quality of life too, because it's got it, at the end of the day, whoever has the most money does not win, right? You need to have quality of life too. So that's something that
even business owners go through burnout. I mean, people think that that's a
yes.
corporate thing, but it's not. I mean, yes, you might take pride in your business, but if your business is running you versus you running your business, eventually you can burn out and get demotivated. And then that's the worst thing for a business owner, is a demotivated business owner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we are the chief everything officer and it's top down. And when we are burnt out, it's not the responsibility of everybody else to pick us up. So it's so important to take some time for yourself, to have some self-care and have some time built in to your business, because that actually makes it better. And that's, I'm a big believer in, batching things and, being kind of methodical about how you go about things. And it's easy to jump in and just do it all to try to get there. But it's kind of like getting in your car and just driving as fast as you can. If you don't have a plan of where you're going, you're going to be going,
Right.
and you'll be going fast, but you won't be going anywhere.
Right.
So I always encourage my clients. I was like, it may feel silly for us to stop and plan, because you just want to immediately get to the profit and the number but we will get there so much more efficiently, and you will feel so much more calm. My goal with my clients is to have them feel confident and competent when it comes to running their business from a financial standpoint, right? So it's just, I'm like, you just slowing down and doing these little processes, it helps me in my business. And that's, I teach others what I've seen through 25 years of working with clients, what I've seen work for other people.
Right. Well, when you help them coach through that process, what is kind of the big struggle you see them have about making that decision of, okay, I'm going, because, it's tough, right? You're having to invest knowing that that's going to pay dividends in the future. So what's the number one struggle you see with business owners when they kind of start to process that?
I see a lot of things. I will say, some of it is the fear, kind of the FOMO, right? Like if I eliminate that, then if I don't go to that networking event, if I don't, whatever, then I'm going to miss out. So just getting past that, like really learning to be like, which are the things that, drive me closer to my goal, and understanding you're not going to get it right 100% of the time, right? You're going to eliminate something you wish you hadn't. You're going to keep something that later you realize you shouldn't. But also, one thing that, really, really can kill a business, and this is a little bit off topic, but I promise is on topic, is cash. So, a lot of my clients are chasing a top line number. They're chasing revenue, a revenue number. And what I always talk about is we're actually chasing the bottom line, which is profitability. But more so than that, you have to have your cash in order. So I equate profit to food and cash to air. Food is good. Can't live forever without food, but we can live for a little while. We cannot live without air. Right. You have to have cash. And so that's what can be a holdup for clients when we talk about this automate, eliminate, delegate, is the fear of not, like I'll eliminate the wrong things and I won't have the cash in the door. And that's why, like I said, I really, that's my favorite thing, is to come alongside people and help them be strategic in that. And also to realize, like, okay, you have to be evaluating things as you go. You don't eliminate, automate, delegate one time and then go, okay. You have to evaluate, if these are the right decisions. So watching your cash and making sure you didn't just eliminate something that, you delegated sales and now there are no sales, so you have no cash. So just that, like, that fear that people have of, that they won't have a business if they do that. And I think it's really normal. Like, it was scary for me to hire a VA, and I am a financial person and I knew, my numbers, but it's still scary to do that. And like I said, and then you can go the other way where you become shiny object syndrome and you
right,
buy too many things or whatever.
But your points were well taken. It's not a one and done exercise. It's something you're always looking at your business, and you can go back and undo things that you automated, delegated, whatever. But then your business is always changing. So new tasks, new responsibilities get put onto you as that chief everything officer, and you always got to be looking at, should I be doing it, or should somebody else in the business?
Absolutely. And it's funny because I just did another thing on another YouTube training on spring cleaning your finances. So we all think about spring cleaning your home, and in that same way, I tell people you have to do an expense audit too. Like, how many things are being automatically charged to your business credit card because you signed up for them, but they're no longer serving you. Well, you find that with your time too, right? Like you just joined a thing. And so you're just going like, I live by my calendar. You and I both talked about that.
Yeah.
If it's on my calendar, then I do it, right? I just look down, I'm supposed to be there. So if I sign up for something and I put it on my calendar, then without thinking about it, I'm just doing it. So it's important to continue to assess, to continue to say, eliminate, automate, delegate, because something that served your business well 6 months ago now may be able to eliminate, automate, or delegate to
Right.
someone else.
Right. Absolutely. Well, this has been a great topic. I want to dig a little bit into delegate. So I talk with a lot of business owners, some other coaches in this world, and I hear themes all the time. And one of the things I always hear about is the frustration is not the right word. I guess it's the fear of delegation because it requires some upfront time. So that upfront time is like training that person that you're going to delegate to. So when you talk with business owners, kind of how do they approach that? And how do they get over that initial upfront cost of human time to get that person proficient in what they need to do it the way you want it done, on the schedule that you want it done, set all those expectations. How do you see that they approach that?
So one thing is because I'm a financial person, right? I help people build that into their budget, right? When you are budgeting what it's going to cost, for example, if you're going to get a W-2 employee, not only are you going to pay them their salary, and then, perhaps you're offering benefits, but you're definitely going to be paying payroll taxes. Now you've got to get a payroll processor. So it's going to cost you all of those dollars. But the other dollars that you didn't think about is exactly what you're talking about. The time that you personally are going to lose to train them, and the time that they're not going to be super productive because you're training them and they're getting up to speed. So I always say, like, don't go in blind. Like, expect that. You didn't know how to do what you do on day one. And in fact, I still don't know how to do a lot of the things, right? I learn every single day. And so expecting that really helps, and looking at it from a financial standpoint so that you're not surprised. Like, oh yeah, I expected that this was going to, cost me this much in opportunity cost. So that's just factored in to that. And then the other advice that I give people is, we are all created uniquely and differently. And if you hire someone that thinks exactly like you do, and just, like you're just so in sync that you have the exact same thoughts, you know what? Then the only thoughts you have are your own. So I'm like, that's not great, right? I always say, if you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room, right? Get some new friends. So what I'm saying is, embrace the uniqueness of the people that you hire. Like, set your standards for kind of the non-negotiables. But like for me, like having a VA, for example, does she do things exactly as I would do them? No. Are they sometimes better than I would have done them? Absolutely.
Right.
Right. And so it's an actually really freeing thing when you realize, like, you set the things, like, these are the things that I absolutely, it needs to be this way. Beyond that, allow the person to grow into that role. You'll have happier people working for you, and you'll allow them to really flourish in what they're doing. And so I always say, it's actually a really freeing thing when you delegate and you see other people start to take ownership of the piece of the pie that you gave them. And you can always take it back, but just allowing others to have a voice, I think, is a really powerful thing. And like I said, once you have kind of worked out the financial part of that, you're able to let that go.
Right.
And like I said, you nail down the things that, that matter to you, that you're like, okay, it absolutely has to meet these 5 criteria. And then beyond that, different people do things differently, and it's not bad.
Give them a framework to work within, but then as long as they're in the boundaries of the framework, they have the flexibility to do it lots of different ways, and probably, to your point, better ways.
I've learned so many things, Steve, from my clients over the 25 years. If I had stayed stuck in the things that I knew 25 years ago, I would be of no help to my clients today. But every single day, I try to learn a new thing. Every client, I know that while I'm trying to impart all the things that I've learned through 25 years, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm just listening and I'm observing and I'm teaching what I've learned, but I'm also listening and learning from other people.
Right.
So, just like I've learned so much from you already, just about like podcasting and all the things that I've taken in that I took notes on that I will utilize. Those are the things that, we can learn from other people, because whoever that person is that you delegate to, they're going to bring in their years of experience doing things differently at different places. And you may never have thought of that, or at least that's what I've seen with my clients and has been true in my personal business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last time we got a chance to meet face to face, I shared with you the book title, Who Not How. And the
Yeah.
author's name escapes me, but I just finished the book, and he does a really fantastic job of saying, if you ever get into a task and you're asking, well, how do I do this? How do I do this? Stop, because you should be asking who, because that means you don't know anything about how to do the thing you want to go do, and someone else does. So find the person, and it doesn't have to be you delegate to the person. Maybe they can teach you, but he really advocates for they're the right person to do it. So give them the task. They're the right who. A fantastic book. Um, well, with your experience working with clients, what is like your one biggest piece of advice that you see that you are conveying to your clients on a regular basis, because it's kind of a commonality you see in business ownership?
Wow, so many thoughts. Um, so for those who are maybe just starting out or who are newer in the business, I would say make sure that you have a strong foundation for your business,
Mm.
meaning have your structure right and in place. There are so many little things we can get so busy, like, I'm going to start this business, and we're so busy working, in our business,
Right.
that we haven't really set a foundation. And the way I explain that is, whether you're going to build a shack or a mansion, rain's going to come either way, wind is going to come either way, and the foundation that it's set on matters, right? And having a strong foundation really matters. And in a business, the same applies. We can get out there and get super busy, running our business, but if you don't have your right tax and legal entity structure set up, if you don't have, you know, um, your tools in place, like an accounting system or your website or whatever, or you don't have the right people in place. So I always say, for those starting out, and honestly, this can be people that have been in business for a while who are like, oh my goodness, I don't actually have the right foundation. And that's another thing you have to evaluate all the time, right? Just like we evaluate when we get a crack in our foundation of our house, you have to evaluate. So same thing, you have to evaluate, do I have a crack in my foundation, right? Do I need to change now from a sole proprietor to an LLC or to an S Corp? Like, you have to reevaluate. And then the other thing that I strongly encourage people is to get a system to track your cash and also your profitability. And it is not one and done. You are in control of your business. That's what I teach people, to be financially empowered. So be in control, and having your eyes on both your cash position and your profitability is what will help you get from where you are to where you're trying to go. So just those two metrics, I'm like, you don't need 700 KPIs. You don't need, and people will tell you that you do. I'm like, figure out which are the ones that keep you up at night, or which are the ones that are going to make a difference, that you're going to make a decision based on.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's like 3 to 5 numbers. I'm telling you, like, for all the people, I'm sorry that I say, like, you don't need 25 KPIs. There's
Right.
probably only 3 to 5 numbers that you go, something's wrong, or something's great, right?
Right.
And so that would be my advice, is, keep your eyes on a few key metrics, make sure that you have your eyes on cash and profitability. And like I said, have a strong financial foundation. Make sure you've got those building blocks in place. Just like every home needs a foundation, your business does too.
Perfect. So definitely make sure you have food and air, but don't complicate it. You don't need, yeah, you need the other
Yeah,
stuff, but you don't need to measure the other stuff because that's the ultimate measuring stick for your business. Perfect.
absolutely. Absolutely. Too much, it can be too distracting. It's way
Oh
too
yeah.
distracting to have 25 numbers. And that's a really common thing is, I'm like, yes, I can put together all the pretty graphs that you want. But honestly, if you're going to look at the graphs and you're not going to change your actions based on it, that's kind of the point of the
Right.
numbers, right? If
Yeah,
we're just going to look at them to look at them, it doesn't. There's really no point in tracking them.
that's
So
right. Exactly. This has been fantastic, Christy. So you've got a wealth of knowledge and experience helping your clients. As the audience has kind of heard what your background is and your approach, how would they learn more about Victory Advisory Services and you? Where would they go to do that?
I would love to connect with any of your audience. And our website is victoryadvisory.com. And there's a connect with us tab on that. Also, we run a small business finance simplified free Facebook group where I train every week. It's a free group. So there's trainings in there and tips and strategies. And in our services, we offer everything from I have a online course coming out actually called Small Business Financial Foundations because I feel that strongly about the foundation.
Mhm.
And we also offer all sorts of services from bookkeeping to advisory because those are the things that I love. So no matter where you are in your business strategy, we would love to help you and talk to you and see if we're a good fit.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I certainly hope that the guest had an opportunity to listen to your approach to maximizing the kind of the personal what am I trying to say? Maximizing the work-life balance. That's the word I was trying to come up with. And then with your assistance coaching them on that. So and the Facebook group sounds like a great resource for them to get started. So perfect.
Yes, and it's free. It's free. And those trainings are also on YouTube. So,
Oh,
if you're not a
perfect.
Facebook person, I know some people aren't, but the trainings are on YouTube. Just search my name, Christie Varner, and you can find those. I do them every week. And, my goal is your success. So, that's what I'm thinking of a small business owner every week when I put together trainings. So hopefully those are helpful to people. Like I said, those are where you don't even need to spend a dime. Every piece of information we need for every aspect of our business is available for free on the internet. Sometimes it pays to delegate and get some help and to outsource, but if that's not where you are yet, I would love to have you in the group, Small Business
Awesome.
Finance Simplified.
A lot of resources, and definitely as a business owner, if you're not learning, you're standing still. So take advantage of all those resources. Well, Chrissy, this has been fantastic to have you on the show today. I'm so glad we were able to finally connect and make this happen. Anything else you'd like to leave the guest?
I just want to say I'm cheering you on. I'm a big supporter of small business personally and professionally, and I am cheering you on. And if there's anything that I can do to help, just please reach out to me. I'm, on all the social media places, or you can email me, Christie@victoryadvisory.com. I love to meet new people. And, I would love to help support you any way I can.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Christy.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me. This has been so much fun.
Well, thank you for listening to today's episode. I really enjoyed talking with Christy Varner, founder of Victory Advisory Services. She shared a ton of information with us today, so I hope you guys were taking notes. I love that she said the CEO can stand for the Chief Everything Officer, and that's not what you want it to stand for. So if you feel like you are the chief of everything in your business, then you have an opportunity to review your tasks that you take on each and every day and perform that task and time audit that she talked about. From that audit, review what you can eliminate, automate, and delegate. I thought that was so powerful and yet so practical at the same time. Business owners can get so wrapped up in the weeds of their business, really in the day-to-day details, that they can forget to take a step back and really evaluate should they be doing the activities that deliver value for their business. I love it that she use the analogy that profit is to food as cash is to air. You really need to be focused on your cash in your business, because we can live without food for a couple of days, but you can only live without air for a few seconds. So it's really important to stay focused on your cash flow more so than your profitability. Then lastly, as she talked about, when you go through that eliminate, automate, delegate process, identify those things that you can delegate, and it doesn't have to be 2 employees already on your books. It can be individuals that you outsource the work to, and really look at the value of your time as a business owner, so that if you can bill out at $100 per hour per se, then what can you do with those billable hours when you can outsource other work to other professionals? Christie has a wealth of information. It's very practical. And as a profitability coach, she wants to help you achieve your dreams in your business and in your life. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. I too would like to help you achieve your business and personal goals. When you can attract and retain great motivated employees, you can develop them so that they can work in the business handling the day-to-day activities, which allows you to focus on your business, growing your customer count and growing your revenue, freeing you to build your business in the vision that you wanted while balancing the work-life balance in your life. When you can get and keep those employees with great health benefits, they are more likely to stay, so that you can invest time developing them and they can take your business to the next level. My name is Steve Stump, and if I can help you structure health benefits to do exactly that, I would be honored to be your trusted advisor in that respect. To learn more about how I do that, simply Google Insure Me Steve, and my website will pop up along with my Google business listing. Feel free to schedule some time with me, and we can talk about how you can work on, not in your business. Tune in next week, as I've got a great guest that's going to help you think about your business in different respects and how to work on, not in your business. This has been the 100% On, Not In Your Business podcast. I appreciate your time today. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, and tune in for next week. Until then,